My name is Diana Jules, and today I will be discussing Ellen. But first, let me give you some historical background. Deinstitutionalization is the policy of moving mentally ill people out of large state institutions and then closing part or all of those institutions. Why the closures? The reason for closures of institutions was severe abuse, inhumane treatment, and antipsychotic medication such as chlorpromazine. Dr. Allen recognized that people who had disabilities were treated harshly and were either jailed or institutionalized. And in 1852, he established Ellen in Germantown, PA, with 26 students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Ellen is a nonprofit organization that provides service for individuals with intellectual, developmental, and behavioral health issues. Ellen's mission reads as follows: maximizing potential, thorough personal commitment, collective talents, and innovation. Ellen supports individuals with diverse challenges in shaping distinctive, meaningful lives. Their vision states that through partnership with families, communities, and government, Ellen will be the provider of choice of people with diverse challenges. The organization divides its services among the following programs: behavioral health, early childhood services, special education, research and health services, work and adult programs, and supports for living. Today, Ellen employs 2,700 and serves approximately 13,000 individuals in 4 states: Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and California. And they also have 1 site in Israel. One of the ways that Ellen supports its mission and vision is to implement community inclusion, or CIP. Community Inclusion Program is designed to empower families and self-advocates to access community service resources, activities, and programs. The chain of command for Ellen starts with the board of directors and flows down through the individual services which are guided by the program director. Ellen utilizes both corporate and program policy manuals. The board of directors and president govern the corporate manual, which contains items on human resource procedures, corporate rules and code of conduct, safety issues, and communication. Program policies are developed by the executive director and program director, depending on the nature of the policy. These are often dictated by state and county regulatory codes for running the different programs. Each location or unit within a program then has its own unit director to monitor daily operations and unit supervisors to oversee various shift tasks. Organization of human resources starts with the president and the executive director of the organization. These members determine what positions are needed for each program and create job description for the positions. Unit directors are responsible for the recruiting of staff members and the individual program levels. This involves reviewing applications and interviewing candidates to determine who will be best fit for the programs. To ensure ongoing quality care, it is the responsibility of the unit directors and unit supervisors to schedule training for staff members. Some training is required by regulatory standards. However, individual members may wish to obtain additional training in subject areas that will enhance the services for clients. To select the elective training, unit directors and supervisors meet with direct care personnel during monthly supervisions and annual performance appraisals to discuss training options. These provisions must also be approved by the organization's president. General compensation, though, is controlled by the corporate financial officer and executive director. A separate human resources department oversees additional benefits such as health insurance and tuition reimbursement. Before I go to the next slide, I wanted to go back to the organizational structure. As you see, direct care staff is at the very bottom of this organizational structure. Not negating that the board of directors and the presidents and executive directors are not important, but direct care staff is at the very, very bottom of this. And I beg to differ, because the direct care staff assists, monitors, teaches individuals in budgeting skills, grocery shopping, menu planning, and preparation and cleanup. One of the most important principles in direct care staff is encourage empowerment. A lot of clients that have impairments or disabilities have been abused. They don't have the support, community support or family support. So when they come into a facility, the direct care staff is their new support system. And that's why it's very important that direct care staff should be recognized for the job they do. Another principle that direct care staff does is follow individual treatment plans consistently. Following treatment plans is very important as well. Direct care staff, they have to go by the plans for the rehabilitation of the client. And also, as a direct care staff, they are their link to society. They prepare them to go back into society and be a part of society. Elwyn is regulated by multiple human service agencies. Department of Public Welfare, Department of Aging, local county government, and OSHA. Elwyn has to follow effective management and corporate policies based on regulations set by government agencies to ensure basic requirements are met. At the program unit levels, unit directors must maintain constant communication with referring agencies to maintain full resident census, since empty beds equate to loss of revenue. At some of the sites, recently there was an inspection. The Department of Welfare came in and they inspected the rooms. They inspected the psychosocial forms. They interviewed residents, and they just went throughout the whole site, just making sure that the site was up to code. Because if it's not up to code, it will not only they won't only fine Elwyn, but it will hinder the residents that live there. Therefore, it is very important for Elwyn to maintain the codes and the acts that are in place to protect not just the residents but themselves as well. As part of the service plan, surveys and ongoing treatment meetings are conducted for client feedback and allow their voices to be heard to address issues they may have within a unit. At Elwyn, it is encouraged for residents to participate in monthly meetings. If they have issues with other residents, if they have issues with staff, if they have suggestions that they can forward to the staff, they should be heard. Just like if they were working at a job and they needed, they had an idea. Same thing for at Elwyn. We encourage them to participate as though they are part of the community, because they are part of the community. And we want to give them empowerment so they can, feel as though that they contribute as well. At the last meeting I did attend, there was an issue concerning inclusion. We have more younger residents coming into the facility, so therefore the younger residents are bored easily. They're young adults ranging from 20 to 25, and in the past, Elwyn has was geared toward the older resident. I would say maybe around 40 to 70. And the younger residents would said they were bored and they needed things to do so they wouldn't get antsy and get into trouble. So when they were in the meeting, they came to staff and we asked them, did they have any suggestions? And they had a slew of suggestions, like going bike riding, working out at LA Fitness, just going to play basketball. And when we implemented that into our program, it empowered them. It gave them a sense of pride that they had come up with this plan. And that's the whole thing that Elwyn is part of. Elwyn's mission is to empower the residents that are there. So it is very important for Elwyn to recognize their residents. Also, Elwyn is open to members of the community to gain other viewpoints and create better community awareness of the organization. And by involving family and friends, can develop better relationships with all stakeholders, have more options for tactical planning. In turn, these outcomes allow for ongoing revenue and reduced fines, which maintains the organization's profitability and reputation. Elwyn has been around for almost 140 years. It's one of the oldest organizations that assists those with impairments or disabilities. And it is important for the community to recognize that this is the community. They are part of society. And if we do not include them, then we hinder society. We're not putting our best foot forward because they are people, they are human too, so therefore it is very important for us to include them in everything. One of the particular codes and acts that Elwyn implements into their services, the Department of Aging. The act is H.R. 1984-106, and it's the Elderly Protection Act. And this is to prevent the abuse of elderly people. The Commonwealth of PA policies, Elwyn has to follow the Commonwealth of PA policies. A few of the policies are 5310-11. Elwyn shall provide a legal governing body. Another one is 5310.31, program description, services provided, psychosocial assistance, and methods. I believe that's very important because if a resident comes into the program with no sense of direction, then Elwyn is not doing their job. We're lacking for them. And there is no goals to be set forth, and we need a foundation to start from. 5310.41, staffing and training for a 24-hour facility. This policy is very important. Education is very important in terms of training the employee for their job. Education is always evolving. Therefore, we must maintain our intelligence, our competence. We must do all the things we have to do to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward to assist the residents. And because if we do not, then we are lacking, and we may do more harm than good. Therefore, it is very important for us to be trained and retrained and take into account that we are always going to need more and more education, especially most Elwyn sites are a 24-hour facility. Therefore, it never closes because it's residential. The residents live there 24/7. Therefore, staff must be on site 24/7. And there are different instances. People are different, and there are different instances where scenarios can happen. And you, as employees, you must be aware and be trained for those scenarios that happen. The core values and beliefs of Elwyn are integrity, respect, commitment, and should be the basis of our relationship. If management does not maintain the standards of the policies and regulations, there will be reduced client satisfaction, increased complaints from both clients and their supports. Increased grievances consume more personnel and management time because of the investigations and mediating complaints. These can also lead to more investigations by outside governing agencies, which might turn up code violations. These can lead to costly citations and negative credibility with the community and referring agencies. Ultimately, this can lead to closures of facilities and decreased profitability of the company. Integrity, respect, and commitment should be the basis of our relationship. Personal accomplishments are an integral part of a meaningful life. The whole of society is better for the inclusion of all its citizens. Inclusion is a very important part of Elwyn. As I stated before, if the resident doesn't feel part of something, then they may be lost and they won't have a foundation to build upon. It's very important for a resident to feel included in something. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be school, it could be a job, just so they can have some type of meaningful relationship in their life. And that will hopefully gear them into accepting their impairments and learning how to rehabilitate whatever disabilities they may have. The programs that Elwyn offers is behavioral health, early childhood services, special education, research and health services, work and adult day program, and supports for living. Funding is primarily through local county government. Elwyn does accept donations, fundraising through organized runs, and funding is generated through service fees based on an individual's income from Social Security or cash. This is very important because in society, unfortunately, people believe that people that have disabilities or impairments or a mental impairment, that they do not have income. And they believe that they don't pay taxes. And that is untrue. A lot of them do work. They do contribute to society. They do pay taxes. And unfortunately, most of the time when they do work, they are usually only paid minimum wage. But they work. They get up. And if they can't drive, they take a bus to work. And yes, most do receive Social Security or cash, but it's so minimal. No one could live on that alone, and unfortunately, that's why so many people that have mental impairments and intellectual disabilities are homeless. and they live on the street. So I think it is very important for society to recognize that they didn't choose this. I thank you for your time, and I hope you gain information about Elwyn. If you have any questions, they will be posted on discussion board. Thank you.